There are clients who, there are agents I know who just forward a document to their clients to sign, don't even review it. And there are times where we're like, I can't. And I will tell my clients, hey, I'm looking at this title commitment. I would advise that you get your attorney to review it because there's a few things that I'm not so sure about, and
or some encumbrances that there may be. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And maybe that strolled into me from my father, but
well, that probably helped. I would imagine that
having an attorney on retainer is nice. Yeah,
and he's cheap too for you.
Real cheap.
The price is
dinner
right
here and there, and
let him take the grandkids.
I know.
So I think that is a great opportunity for us to transition into what it was like for you going from an assistant and your decision to get into real estate as an assistant, because what a lot of people do, they get into real estate, they see that so-and-so is making great money, and they're like, oh, they get to drive around and look at houses, and they glamorize it in so many ways, right? But I think that it's really important for people to understand what you went through as an assistant to learn the craft, to build, to stack your bricks, so to speak, right? What was that like? Because I know you weren't making a lot of money at the time.
Yeah.
And now we know where you are and you're crushing it. But people see you today and they're like, oh, she's selling $2 million, $3 million houses.
How long that took?
Exactly.
I mean, I think as an assistant, there are so many people, and this is something I have to, thank Laura for. She is really big on, if you're an assistant at Gottesman and you are taking the time to really put in your time and learn, she wants you to graduate to be an agent because she knows you've been studying under one of the best in the industry. So you've seen, because we know every transaction is different. There's always a little something. You learn something from every transaction. So in that's not something you can just dive into. I mean, it terrifies me to think that years ago when I got into it, if I had just gone out there and, yes, I
especially
probably
in a
could
market like today.
Absolutely. And the last 2 years, we saw such an influx of new agents coming in. Oh, I'm bored. I'm at home. And, 3 o'clock happy hour is getting boring. So let me go do something on the side while I'm at, that's scary to me because they have no idea. It's like you are a walking lawsuit is what I think.
You're a walking lawsuit.
That's just what I think. But
there are friends I've gone out downtown. I need to start telling them that when we go out, hey, buddy, you're a walking lawsuit.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like, oh, geez. I'm going to keep you at arm's length over there. But as an assistant, I got to see every deal. I was filling out contracts. I was doing all the back end stuff. The marketing and all of that, but also, which is the fun stuff, but you also learn the laws behind what you can and cannot advertise, all those rules. And then on the contractual side, I got to see how do you say this? How do you present this? What's the rule if we need to extend, if we need to do every little thing? I got that on a daily basis. So I feel like then when I became an agent, I was like, I've been doing this for so long.
Now you were licensed though.
You have to be licensed.
Yeah, you have to be licensed.
Yeah. So when I got into the business, my dad said that's where I got walking lawsuit. You're a walking lawsuit. Do not open your mouth. Did he tell you
that when you were like 10?
Probably. Probably told me repeatedly throughout my life.
Every birthday.
Yeah. When you're driving, your 16th, in college, it's like, oh, geez. But he said, you have to get immediately. So I got it licensed immediately. Because you can't say anything. You can't, really you are opening a door and until you're licensed, you really shouldn't be saying or doing much. So I got that immediately. Plus Laura requires that. If you're an assistant at Gottesman, you need to be licensed because I mean, how else are you going to know what you can and can't do?
Exactly.
Without going through all of that. And then with that, it's really great. Laura has a great way of, if you do have friends, people who've reached out, referrals, you can work those, and then you partner with the agent that
you're starting to stack your own bricks.
Yes, exactly.
And that's if I could, that's what I saw with you, the progression of that, right? You're starting off as a young agent. You don't have any referral base. I mean, you have your personal sphere, but you're learning under the tutelage of other fantastic realtors, and you're seeing how they work deals. You're also seeing how they build those relationships and how they maintain those.
Yeah. And I think, it was such a learning experience, and it continues to be because I work with all of those, agents, and I respect them and I appreciate them because they took the time to sit down and teach me. I mean, process after process after process. And that is, priceless. You cannot go to a school and learn that. Right. That is a daily, learning. And for me, I think that's why I really love this business. And I know that sounds so cheesy, and people say that probably all the time about their business, but
you love what you do.
I really love what I do because I'm constantly learning, and it's constantly evolving. And so with being an assistant and growing, I really did grow. I grew my business. I grew who I was as an individual, and gained confidence in my career, and to the point of now, I feel so great and thankful and blessed of where I am, and that's not because of a lack of I literally started from the bottom, and I love that. Like I think I think a lot of companies should do that. I mean, I think that's really important.
Start at ground level.
Yeah. And I think now when I see young agents, I really do try to help them.
Yep.
Because it's the kindness of those seasoned agents that got me to where I am now. And I remember those agents, and I will try to tell them. And even now, hey, you probably don't remember me, but 10 years ago, we were doing a deal or a title. There are some escrow officers that I work with a lot, and I will tell them, one of them recently retired, and I used to call her and all the time, even when we didn't have a deal, and I was an assistant, and I was like, I have a question. Why is this way? Yeah. Because I didn't just want to check it off a list. There are so many people who just take a contract, check it off the list, and they have no idea why they're checking it off the list, and why they do something. Whereas I wanted to understand, and that's the culture at Gottesman, understand why you're doing it, why you got to there, or why you're avoiding that, And
well, be a pro.
Be a pro.
Continue to educate yourself. Yeah. And then also be a beacon for those that are coming up through the ranks now, right? Because to your point, those that had really embraced you when you were young, they recognized that you had talent, and the same thing's happening now. I mean, now you're a seasoned vet. Yeah. I mean, I still, for me, I can't even fathom the fact that you're a grown woman because I just remember you as a baby girl.
I know. We've done a lot of life together, Steve. A lot of life.
What about when we had babies together at the same time?
I know. I'm like, go back up there. You need to go see your new baby.
So for our friends watching our show and listening to our show, we were having our babies in the same hospital, in the same wing, same time. I know. And you were bed. I mean, I
was on bed rest.
Yeah, you were on bed rest. For how long was that?
Oh, geez. That was...
You were working deals from bed,
Yeah, yeah. That was 2 months of being on bed rest, a little short of 2 months, and the twins. Yep. And so that's a whole thing, and people probably understand that. But I will tell you, that is something, a testament to Gottesman. It was, I can still do what I need to do. I mean, I can't open doors and be, there, but I can do all the back end. I can talk to you, and I can organize, and I pride myself on efficiency and organization and professionalism. And And I was able to do that. And so the funny thing is, next to me is this lady, they're like, we can do crafts. And I was like, I don't have time for crafts.
We can do crafts.
And I had all these my
we can
files
do crochet.
out. Yeah, I had my files out, you know, and I was like, I'm going to need another table, and so I have my files out and organized and calling, lenders and title and, inspectors and doing all that on the back end. So
and this is before it's as prevalent as it is now to work from home.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time, there was still a lot of paper pushing.
Oh, we had paper files and now it's great. We have, everything's digital and on your phone and secure, obviously. Yeah. And, but that would have made it so much easier to do my job. But I was like, well, hole puncher. I had a hole puncher, I had a stapler, I had the, legal size folders. And then my husband would take them into the office next to my Ivy, and so it's like, but I pride myself on that because I didn't stop. I didn't give up. And a lot of people now, and it's this whole culture now of, I can't work. I don't want to. And that to me sounds like an excuse. And I don't have time for that.
No, you don't.
You don't either, and I think, and life's too short, I like you mentioned people being kind of in the negative and things like that and how we work a different way.
Yeah.
Life's too short. I want to enjoy life. I want to be happy. I want my clients to be happy. And I want to grow in my career. And I want to continue. And I want to set a good example for the younger agents coming up, for my kids to see mom has a reason to go to, she has a job, she's successful. I want my friends to respect me in that, not just in, all the other aspects of my life.
Where do you think that comes from? Where do you think that drive comes from? Is it from your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad is amazing. My mom is amazing as well. And I'm so thankful to them.
The competitive spirit?
Yes, my dad is competitive. Okay. He swam his whole life. He went to the Air Force Academy, which is the elite of the elite.
Okay.
He's was in the Air Force, went, obviously ended up in Texas. He's not from here. And went to UT Law and never left Austin. Yeah. So
how often do we hear that?
Yeah, I know.
Feeling like I never left Austin.
Then I kind of went and came back, So I think he just instilled in me a work ethic.
Yeah.
He could have, as an only child, he could have given me anything I wanted. And he did. He gave me a lot of things, a lot of opportunities and, great things in life. And I am so thankful to my parents for that. He made me work for it.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, one time I wanted to go on a trip and he was like, no. And I said, what? I thought he'd just say, yes.
Daddy.
Dad. Yeah, please. And he said, present it to me, bring me why you want to go, why you deserve to go, and how you're going to get there. And I had to, I was like a full-blown presentation. And he still does that to this day. And him and to this.
Why do you want to bring the kids over?
Yeah.
Well, because Ryan and I want a date night.
I know, exactly. He actually, he is a huge part. He will, hey, I have free time. The other day he picked up one of my twins, and took him to play chess at the library. And because that's his new favorite thing to do is to play with his Abu chess. And so they went and played. And I'm sitting there thinking, great, and he's, he goes to all the games and talks sports with the other one and, and then does the girly stuff with my daughter. So he is amazing. And he has had this fabulous career. He's built very successful law firms and joined them with others. And he's, moved to Africa and helped people there and taught them about the laws and things like that. So he has had this interesting life, but he has taught me if you don't show up, things don't happen. If you are 15 minutes early, you're late.
Yeah.
You know, he has
That's
just.
the military in him.
It's the military.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. He's sure to tell my boys that they need haircuts because it is not meeting that Air Force Academy, and so it's funny because as a child, I probably didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know I didn't appreciate it at all.
Who does?
Yeah. And, but now I am like, the reason I am here and the reason I am successful is because he put that foundation in me, and from day one. And really, he could have said, here's a car on your 16th birthday.
Yep.
No, I drove I shared a car. I had a hand-me-down. I found a car, I will never forget, at the Barton Creek Mall that had a sign for sale. And I had to ask him, and he said, "Do you want to pull money out of your savings?" He really taught me everything about that. First loan, how to apply for that. I didn't need a loan. He said, you just need to go through the process.
Yep.
And that was in college, and just get a little nominal loan and you can understand how that works. Same with credit card, all those things. He taught me about all of how to be successful in life and also to be competitive, to have confidence in yourself, to really make sure that you believe, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is. So if you think you can show up and you can be there and you can provide what you need to for your clients, then they're going to believe that as well, and
So your dad clearly was your very first mentor that you had, and a real strong, I can see the correlation, strong relationship with a strong dad helps a woman become a strong, stable woman that recognizes the value of relationships, especially with men in their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He is so good at that. I see him. We used to joke. We couldn't go to dinner. We couldn't go to the grocery store, get gas, anything without him knowing someone, and my mom would always, she's like, okay. And she's social as well.
Yeah.
But he just was really good at it. He's really good at fostering relationships. We just celebrated his 75th like a year ago. And
he's a young 75
he's
too.
a young 75. And all these people came in town for him. I'm talking back to childhood.
Wow.
Does he see them all the time? No. But does he keep in touch with them, even if it goes 6 months or a year or longer? He is just so good at fostering and maintaining relationships. And he taught me how to do that. And the importance of it, not as a business, but also as a life tool. To meet people and understand the value of people and that everyone's different and you can bring what you bring to each other and bring to that relationship and, withdrawals and deposits, and that is so important.
Withdrawals and deposits. Go a little deeper on that, because we're talking about relationships.
Yeah.
Because that's so true.
Yeah.
I'm withdrawing a little bit from this relationship. I'm going to make a deposit.
Yeah.
And that balance sheet isn't always balanced.
No.
Right?
Not at all. There are relationships that are constant withdrawals.
Yeah.
And I think when you see that and there's always a withdrawal, you start to reevaluate it. Is this a beneficial relationship? Am I always depositing? The other person's always withdrawing. And is this really going to be beneficial long term? And that sounds so clinical, but it really is, because if someone's always withdrawing and they're never bringing to the relationship and depositing, then it's really just a one-way street.
Yeah.